Hey there folks, welcome back to that discount rack at your local toy store. I'm your host, Guy with the Bulldog Face from The Mandalorian, and today I'm going to be making this ATST look like crap. This ATST has been sitting below my workbench for quite a while now. This is from the Star Wars Black series of collectibles, and my wife found it for me at Ross for $10. It's been sitting there so long because I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. The ATST, that is, not the figure. Once I got it out of the box, though, I had to play with it at least a little bit, because it is, of course, a toy, and I am a giant child. And since it's so posable, I thought maybe I could get some nice glamour shots. There's the flirty and mysterious look. The holy crap, I ate too much post-Thanksgiving meal pose. And then the whoops, I thought I broke it there for a second look. After I was all done playing with the toy, for now, I decided it was time to scrape all of the branding off of the undercarriage. Because, you know, if there's one place you don't want to have branding, it's on your undercarriage. I'm gonna back up here for a second. Remember how I said that I didn't know what I wanted to do with this ATST? Well, that all changed when I saw episode 4 of my favorite new show, The Mandalorian. For those of you who don't know, The Mandalorian is the best thing to happen to Star Wars in a long time. It's a new show on Disney Plus starring the eponymous Mandalorian, who is a bounty hunter who turns into the coolest babysitter in the galaxy. And just who is he babysitting, you may ask? Well, it's only the most adorable creature you've ever seen. Baby Yoda. Well, that's what everyone on the internet is calling him anyway. We don't really know what his name is yet, but he's just adorable. I mean, just look at those little eyes. He's so cute. I'm gonna have to do this video later. I'm gonna go watch that show again. No! I know he's such a cute little guy, but man, I gotta get this video done. Get back on track, man. Sorry about that. I just get easily distracted sometimes, like a squirrel. Anywho, back to the project. I am, like I said previously, making this ATST look like the one from episode 4 of The Mandalorian. Now, normally, all of the ATSTs look pretty similar in their appearances in the movies and shows. However, the one that we see in The Mandalorian is in a serious state of disrepair, and has had some modifications done to it, including some glowing red eyes, some war paint here on the face, as you can see, some different colored legs, actually, and a few hoses and or electrical lines installed on the body. The reason for all of these changes is because this ATST is no longer being used by the Empire. It's been adopted, or more accurately stolen, by a group of raiders who specialize in, raiding farms for their blue shrimp. They made some of these changes out of necessity, but also because they wanted to make it probably look more intimidating and terrifying. And I'm sure there's probably nothing more terrifying to a group of simple farmers than a giant two-legged monster with glowing red eyes that stomps through the woods. So, good job on them, I guess. Anyway, like I said, I decided that I wanted to make this ATST look like that one. Fun fact, after I started the project, I found that they made a special edition of this ATST from The Mandalorian. You can buy it online right now for $66? Good grief. Well, I'm gonna try to make mine look as good, if not better than that one. And for a lot less money. Only because I've said ATST like a dozen times in this video already, I'm gonna talk about what that is. The ATST, or All-Terrain Scout Transport Vehicle, as it's commonly called. Actually, that's not what it's commonly called. It's commonly called a walker or a scout walker. But anyway, it was manufactured by the Kuat Drive Yards. And yes, I know what you're thinking. That is the same Kuat drive guards that is the manufacturer of the larger four-legged brother of the AT-ST, the AT-AT, the all-terrain armored transport vehicle. Anywho, back to the project. So far, I've painted some war paint on the head of the walker. I spray painted the legs 2 different colors and added some war paint to those as well. And right now, I'm removing most of the excess shoe polish mixture that I applied to weather the walker. As always, I was very careful not to remove all of the shoe polish because I wanted to leave it in key areas. You may have noticed that I am doing this all barehanded. Didn't have any gloves because I ran out. Which is unfortunate because this shoe polish actually stained my fingers for a long time. If you paid close attention earlier, you probably noticed that I spray painted each of the legs a different shade of red. This was on purpose because looking at the reference photos, you can see very clearly that the legs are 2 different colors. So I was just trying to replicate that. Next, I'm going to switch to something that I don't normally do in these videos. Electronics. I want this walker to have glowing red eyes and I want it to have a spotlight. So I rigged up a simple circuit consisting of 3 LEDs, 2 resistors, a battery, and a switch. Nothing too fancy. These are all just pieces that I had laying around. Mostly in the toolkit that I have from back in my days at ITT Tech. And yes, I did have to drill and cut some holes in this walker. With the exception of this switch, all of the electronics are going to be housed inside the head. I positioned the switch on the bottom of the head, as you can see here. For the searchlight, I wanted it to be mounted on the chin gun, so I attempted to drill out the one little nub there on the side. However, what I ended up doing was cutting off that little nub and pushing the LED through the chin gun. But you'll see that in a second here. This LED is actually the same as the one that I used in the chest of that crappy Iron Man figure that I redid for my best friend Mike over a year ago. It's out of one of the tea lights that I got from my wife, and it's really bright. I drilled another small hole right behind the mounting of the chin gun and slipped the wires up through it. For the 2 LEDs for the eyes, I had to desolder one from a circuit and the other one was unused, luckily. The leads were extremely short on the one that I had to desolder, which was really a pain in the butt because I had to solder new leads onto the end of it. I'm using a 9-volt battery to power all 3 of the LEDs. So to do that, I wired them in parallel and used some resistors to make up all of the voltage drops that I needed. This helped to achieve the desired performance out of the LEDs that I was wanting. The electronics definitely don't look pretty, but they're going to be inside the head where you can't see them, so I'm not too worried about it. And with that, it was done. Or so I thought. I added a couple hoses/wires, a net, and some bandages around the joints. You'll see here in a second. This walker perfectly encapsulates the dirty, beat-up, lived-in world of Star Wars. And I couldn't be more thrilled with how it turned out. I'm tempted to try to find one of the special edition walkers that they released in stores, if I can get it for a discount, only to get a closer look at it and compare it with this one. But for now, after it's done intimidating that group of farmers, this little baby's gonna look good sitting up on my shelf. And check this out. I love how that looks. You know, truth be told, I absolutely love how this thing turned out. This is actually one of the easiest projects that I've ever done, but I'll tell you what, I had a blast doing it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe and share it with somebody. And then go check out some of my other stuff that's gonna pop up over in these vicinities. And then go subscribe to Disney Plus and watch The Mandalorian. It's fantastic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.